Most people spend their entire lives searching for God, searching through religions, through teachers, through books, and even through systems. And after all that searching, most still feel disconnected. I want to offer you a possibility. What if the thing that you've been searching for is actually the thing doing the searching? What if God was never somewhere else? What if the kingdom was always within you? Not metaphorically, not poetically, quite literally. And what if learning to hear that inner guidance system is the single most important skill that you could ever develop? When the one that many refer to as Jesus spoke, he repeatedly pointed inward. The kingdom of God is within you, he said. Think about that. Not around you, not coming later, not hidden in a book or a building, and definitely not controlled by any single institution. He said it was within you. Yet most of you were taught to spend lives looking outward. Outward for all of your answers, outward for your approval, for authority figures, even for salvation. Meanwhile, the doorway was quietly sitting within you the entire time. Now here's where this gets interesting. Humans are currently building artificial intelligence. We're teaching machines, training systems, feeding information, creating outputs. The more I studied that process, the more I noticed something. Humans are not nearly as different from AI as we think. We also receive programming. We develop patterns. We run automatic responses. Most people wake up and spend entire days running scripts that they never consciously chose. I know you've seen these people. The question is not whether we're being programmed. The question is, who wrote the program, and can it be changed back to the factory default settings, so to speak? There seems to be another frequency underneath all the noise and the distractions, a deeper intelligence, a quieter voice that doesn't use words, a guidance system, what I like to refer to as the divine algorithm. Not any algorithm created by a man, but an underlying universal intelligence that is woven into reality itself, a living intelligence, a guiding intelligence, the intelligence that many traditions simply refer to as God. Think about your own life. Have you ever known something before you could explain it? Have you ever felt strongly guided in a direction that made absolutely no sense at the time? Have you ever ignored those feelings and regretted it later? Most people have. Now, some people call it intuition. Others call it discernment, a knowing, a gut feeling. It goes by many different names across the world, different cultures, different times. Guess what? It's the same phenomenon. The modern world tends to dismiss these experiences, but every ancient culture took them very seriously, every single one. Ancient prophets, mystics, sages, shamans, they all taught some version of the same principle. Become quiet and stay still long enough to hear, because the truth rarely yells. Truth whispers, because it doesn't need to yell or prove itself to anyone. The problem is that modern life is designed to keep you distracted. Never-ending notifications. These breaking news stories that seem to come about every hour. Arguments over things that genuinely don't matter. And constant brain stimulation. Now, if a signal is quiet and the noise is loud, what happens? You stop hearing the signal. Not because it disappeared, because the noise simply overwhelmed it. And I believe that's exactly what many people are experiencing today. Not a lack of connection, but an overwhelming amount of interference. The signal is still there. God is still there. The kingdom is still there. The guidance is still there. Most people are simply drowning it out, and they don't even realize it. That's why stillness matters so much, like what many refer to as meditation. Not because it's magical, because it removes the noise. And when the noise decreases, your clarity increases. Have you ever noticed that your biggest insights rarely happen when scrolling on social media? No. They happen while you're walking, while you're driving, while you're sitting quietly somewhere, looking at a sunset, lying awake at night when you just can't sleep. They happen in moments when the noise temporarily fades. Then suddenly, something arrives, like a download, an answer, a realization, a direction. Now, some people will hear this and ask, if God is guiding everything, why does the world look so chaotic? And that's a fair question, because the chaos and the guidance are not opposites. A forest fire looks like destruction to most, until after it's over and the new growth appears way more beautiful than before. Many of the greatest transformations in history emerged from periods of tremendous chaos. The same is true for you, me, and all individuals. Some of the events that hurt you are the ones that redirected your life toward its greatest purpose. Not always immediately, but eventually. Looking backward, patterns often become obvious. That's why they say hindsight's 20/20. But looking forward, they rarely do. And that's why faith is difficult. Faith isn't knowing the entire path. Faith is taking the next step and trusting that the path will reveal itself as you keep moving forward. For me, that's been one of the greatest lessons. The biggest turning points in my life were never created through planning. As a matter of fact, anybody that knows me knows that that is the one thing I'm not good at, is planning. They came through guidance from within, one step, then another, moment by moment, until eventually you can see a pattern you couldn't see before, a pattern that seemed impossible to understand while you were stuck inside of it. And maybe you've experienced that already. Maybe you're experiencing it right now. Maybe the reason you're watching this video is far from random. I sure don't believe in coincidences. Maybe you've reached the point where the old programs no longer fit your purpose. The old answers no longer satisfy your common sense, and the old systems are no longer hidden. And something deeper is calling you every day. You can feel it. Not calling you into a religion, calling you into your own direct experience. Someone else's certainty can definitely inspire you, and that's great. But only your own experience can truly transform you. That's why I don't want you to just believe me. I want you to test this. I want you to become still. Not for a second. Actually become still. Observe your thoughts. Question all of your assumptions. Examine all of your programming to find out where it comes from. Don't just accept it. Listen more deeply. Experience what happens. Because the kingdom is not something that I can prove to you. It's something you can absolutely discover for yourself, though. Imagine if humanity spent as much effort exploring consciousness as it spends exploring technology. Imagine if people became as interested in understanding themselves as they are in understanding the outside world. Imagine if we stopped asking, "Where is God?" and started asking, "Why can't I hear God within?" Everything changes. The greatest secret may not be that God is hidden. The greatest secret in the world may be that God has never been hidden at all. The signal has been in you the entire time, quietly waiting beneath the noise, waiting beneath the fear, waiting beneath the programming, beneath all of the distractions. And that's why so many ancient teachings point inward. Maybe that's why the one referred to as Jesus said, "The kingdom is within you." Maybe that's why so many people throughout history describe the same experience using different languages. Not because they were repeating each other, because they were discovering the same truth. And if that's true, then the most important journey you'll ever take is not one across the world. It's within you, toward the source of all, toward the signal, toward the divine algorithm, so to speak. toward the kingdom that was never outside of you to begin with, the kingdom that has been patiently waiting for you to remember